We're very happy to be here tonight to be partnering with the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership on this event. So we're here tonight to talk about manufacturing and manufacturing opportunities in the community. Manufacturing, as we all know, is a key driver of our local economy, and it's also central to the world economy, as evidenced really most recently through the pandemic, when our world really relied on manufacturing to produce life-saving personal protective equipment, ventilators, and vaccines. And manufacturing is a noble and a vital career, yet employee recruitment is one of our region's employers' top challenges. And that's why we're here tonight, to spotlight the variety of well-paid careers available in manufacturing. So our panel tonight includes representatives from 3 local manufacturing companies, all members of the Erie Regional Manufacturing Partnership, who have several job vacancies they're looking to fill. The Erie Regional Manufacturing Partnership is an industry-led group dedicated to ensuring that manufacturing remains a strong contributor to the regional economy. And the employers here tonight are going to tell us what it's like to work within their companies, some of the most in-demand jobs that they're trying to fill, and give us general information on earning potential and advancement opportunities. They're also going to give us their perspective on how manufacturing has evolved over the years, from an industry that was once perceived as dark, dirty, and labor-intensive to the high-tech, innovative, fast-paced environment that it is today. In years past, employers needed legions of trainable employees specializing in a single skill, but today's environment is very different. They need employees with skills that can respond to the technological advancements and the prevalence of computer-controlled machinery and automation that is now really the reality of manufacturing in the community and across the world. They need people with a combination of skills including math, technology, communication, problem solving, and others to be successful. So we've set up tonight's event as a moderated panel discussion where I'll pose a series of questions to get the panelists' insight. And then at the end of that moderated program, we'll open it up to the audience to give you time to ask your questions of the panelists. Our hope is that as you listen to these employers, you think about additional things you'd like to learn from them so that we can all make the best use of our time together. So panelists, thank you for being with us tonight. We're really looking forward to learning more about the manufacturing industry, your companies, and the jobs that you have available. And I'd also like to thank Sean Lyons and his colleagues from the Erie Regional Chamber and Growth Partnership for making tonight's event possible. By way of some background, the Erie Regional Chamber is a membership organization that not only manages the Erie Regional Manufacturing Partnership, but also provides a variety of programs and services to enhance the success of all their members across the region. Finally, thanks to you in the audience for your interest in manufacturing careers and for being here tonight. As I said earlier, this industry is such a critical driver of our local economy, and its continued success depends on employers' ability to secure a strong and committed workforce. Okay, so it's time to get started. Panelists, please tell us your name, position, and a little bit about your company. I'm going to call on each of you individually, starting with Jim Willis.
Thank you, Mary. I'm Jim Willis. I'm the president of Machining Concepts, and we're located on Industrial Drive here in Erie. My partner and I started Machining Concepts 28 years ago. We leased a small space of 4,800 square feet and got 2 CNC machines. And we went to work. Today, we machine precision parts to our customers' prints and specifications. We do that in the aerospace, medical, oil and gas, and commercial markets. We're one of the smaller companies. We only have about 32 employees, and we occupy 20,000 square feet of space. We currently are growing and have 28 CNC machines, and the average age of our machinists are 38. So we have a younger workforce, and we've been doing a lot of training for those employees. Most of our employees being trained in-house. Some have taken technical programs through tech schools or through PMI or through EIT or different organizations. We're looking forward to what the new community college may have to offer. They all have some different levels of experience, and many have taken a combination of these paths in order to learn their skills. We don't have our own product line. We do manufacture the precision components for companies all over the United States. Our largest customer is actually located in California. And as examples, we have our medical certifications. And with that, we are making parts that are being assembled and used on robotic arms that will be used to perform surgery or operate on the knees and hips. We supply parts that are components for other medical devices. And one of those is an apparatus that helps disintegrate kidney stones. In the aerospace industry, with our certifications, we're able to qualify to supply component parts to control fuel to the jet engines on jets. In the oil and gas industry, we supply valve components that operate in excess of 15 to 30,000 pounds per square inch. And they are on oil pressure rigs that are down in the ocean, in many cases down 3 to 4 or 5,000 feet down in the ocean. These critical components, they really require the highest level of the purchasing, making sure we have the right materials. We'll use computer-aided design, computer-aided machining software to help develop the programs, develop the tool paths, and document the machine processes. Some of the latest technologies in carbide and ceramic tooling are selected so we have the most efficient, economical cost for the metal removal. And then to assure the parts are correct, we use some of the latest inspection, CMM controlled type inspection equipment, including vision systems where we collect SPC data to verify our processes and to qualify everything that we do. So that's a little bit about us, and I look forward to hearing what the other companies do.
Thanks, Jim. Before we move on, I want to have Jordan, would you please introduce yourself?
Hi, my name is Jordan Bach. I work with Jim. I'm the lathe supervisor, and I've been with the company for about 2 years.
Thank you, Jordan. Okay, Catherine, on to you.
Hi, thanks very much, Mary. Thanks very much for having me. I'm really pleased to be here and talking about this topic. My name is Catherine Shaw, and I am the Workforce Development Manager at Industrial Sales and Manufacturing, which is just located on 12th Street in Erie. Industrial Sales and Manufacturing is more commonly known as ISM, and it's a contract manufacturer of high-quality component parts. And so that includes parts which go in anything from locomotives to medical devices, to windmills, to golf carts. Pretty much any part can go in anything, and we can provide a whole range of capabilities, including machining, fabricating, welding, assembly, painting, powder coating, right through to shipping. So we really offer an all-under-one roof capability, which we feel sets us apart and offer that unique ability to be able to provide from start to finish of product development to our customers. And we're probably about now 140 strong with employees. It's actually a family-owned and operated business. We're actually celebrating our 55th year in operation this year. It all started with Jim Rakowski Sr., and he actually celebrated not only his 85th birthday this year, but 55 years in business. And he started from very humble beginnings in his own family garage. And he's now grown a company of over 140 people and over 125,000 square foot facility with 3 buildings in the manufacturing facility, with over 65 state-of-the-art CNC machinery and equipment, including robotics and lasers as well. And we're really excited to be here. We're excited about meeting the other companies and hopefully attracting new talent to join the ranks of the manufacturing industry.
Thank you, Catherine. Damon.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for this opportunity again, along with the other panelists, to share this evening with you guys. My name is Damon Friend, and I've been with Wabtec for 24 years. Currently, I'm the plant manager for the campus services team. And at Wabtec, we make things, and we make great things. We always have. It's in our DNA. Collectively, we've spent over 4 centuries raising the bar for safety, quality, talent, and value. We truly move and improve the world. And tonight, I get to represent the Erie site, where we've got 345 beautiful acres that I need to maintain with my team. Over 111 years of experience and infrastructure to deliver our products for our customers. With that immense history that we are not the same company, same plant that we have been in the past. We are working to transform the way we do business. We focus on culture, people first, work on continuous improvement, developing a method to understand, are we winning or losing, and then making sure, are we aligned across the enterprise, sharing best practices within the site or within different sites across the country or around the world. And that's how we deliver our results for our customers. We are a technology hub at the Erie site. We generate and develop many of the new products that we launch for our customers. One most recently, the Flex Drive locomotive that recently received a sustainability award. And currently we employ about 1,300 employees. And over the next 6 months, it's going to grow to about 1,400. And I'm looking forward to the balance of the discussion and questions. So thank you.
Thank you. So I couldn't write fast enough, so I can't give a number, but as I'm standing here listening to you, it's, just reinforces, as we were planning for this, right, we talked about how manufacturing really impacts every facet of people's lives, right? And you just rattled off multiple different industry, different types of products that you produce that impact all different kinds of industry that impact us every day. So, that was such a great way to reinforce that point. So thank you for sharing the different things that you're producing component parts for and locomotives and all those other things. So thank you. Before we take a deep dive into your company specifically, I thought it might be helpful to talk about manufacturing in general and how the industry has evolved over the years. Some of us who aren't intimately involved in manufacturing might have some misconceptions about what it's really like to work in the field today, and I'm hoping we can clear some of that up tonight. Now, what I've learned over the years through my interactions with employers like you is that manufacturing is a career that offers well-paying jobs, the ability to get a job without incurring much, if any, student loan debt, opportunities for advancement within your companies, and a chance to build something tangible that impacts people's lives. I've also learned that the industry has changed dramatically over the years, and with the addition of new technologies and processes, manufacturing continues to evolve. So Jim, I'm going to turn to you with my first question. What can you tell us about the manufacturing industry in general and how manufacturing has changed over the years?
Well, I'm going to start with, I think, kind of letting you know my age. But I worked for a company 35, 40 years ago. And my experience with them, they didn't have any computer-controlled equipment. It was all manual lathes, single-axis mills, drill presses, and they were lined up. And you'd have 12 in a row, and you take a product and you move it from one to the next one. You'd be walking through oil. You'd be having chips on the floor. It was an area that wasn't really well lit. Higher volume products were done on 6 spindle screw machines that were all manual cans. Took a lot of time to set up, difficult to change over. And at that point, for the most part, you had kind of a lower skill type person that was operating and going from one machine to the next and making things happen. And it was tough. It's tough for individuals in that type of situation. One thing that happened then is the CNC equipment started to come in. And as a company, we went in to start to buy some CNC equipment, and how that began to change things. The one thing I want to make sure you understand is years and years ago, there were a lot of specialty equipment and fixtures and so forth that were designed by some very innovative individuals. And they did some miraculous things with what they had to work with. And so there was this whole gamut of individuals that were just operating machines and people designing. It took a whole group of supervisors and schedulers and to be able to do all of this. And so, in contrast, what's happening today? I mean, you look at, everybody's got it, you look at your phone, and how that has changed things, the manufacturing techniques to even be able to do that. With this cell phone, like many companies here, and companies that you're probably associated with and know of, I can take and actually view the shop floor of what's going on. I can monitor what machines are running. I can take and communicate with anyone at almost at any time, and it just totally opens up your world. So those rows of machines have now been replaced by a machine center. And I'm going to be talking more specifically about machining at the moment. But those machining centers now have spindles, they've got sub-spindles, they've got live tooling. They're no longer a 1 or 2 axis lathe. Now they have 7 axes. It's just amazing what can happen. And so along with that now, you know, the factories, your facilities are well lit. They're clean. There's no more a lot of oil and chips on the floor because you've got machines that are guarded. It's safer. And with all of that, now what has happened is the individuals that are running these machines and are learning to do this have opened up a whole new area. This last week, it was interesting to me. I was out on the floor, and there was an employee on the floor. He was running a job for us, and he showed me a little part that he picked up. And he said, I made this at home. He had some lost the word. 3D printing. He had one at home, and he made a little fixture to hold some parts in it to be able to make his job easier. And he brought it in, he designed it, he brought it in, and showed me at home, showed me what he had done at home. And it opens up a whole new world. And so with this, now there's opportunity for them to learn and to be a bigger partner. Now the structure of your company has shrunk. You no longer have all the managers, you no longer have all the expeditors, and the skills are now changing. Where before you had low skill, and then individuals that had maybe an engineer had a 4-year degree, that has all changed. You still need those 4-year degree engineers. You still need those individuals that can go to college, but it isn't for everyone. Now you need an individual, and I'm so proud to have Jordan as a part of our organization. He's going to tell you about his experiences, what he's done. But have individuals that have now come through and had some exposure in high school. They've gone through maybe a part of a technical program. They've begun to work for a company. The company now mentors and does on-the-job training, helps them get to where they are. And then the future just opens up to them. And with that, we'll talk a little bit maybe about some education and training and some job paths that they can follow. Because with this type of pattern that things are going on now, individuals that are young, the world really just opens up to them. And they can, in manufacturing, it's not just about machining, it's about plastic injection molding, it's about mold making, it's industrial maintenance, it goes into sales, it goes into purchasing. But once you get into manufacturing, there's so many different opportunities for you. And it's just great because of the products we've already talked about and how it has changed everyone's life. How it is, this cell phone and the different things that we have has just made things easier and gives us those opportunities. Manufacturing has gone along to do that because we have to continue to have the ability to make things. And to do that, the technology of the new products, the technology to make them, the technology to inspect them just goes on and on. So it's a bright future, and we need to get the message out to all of you that are looking for jobs, that there is a way to go that can be very economical. So.
Thanks, Jim. Do either of you want to also comment on how manufacturing has evolved?
I think Jim covered it really well.
Okay, all right.
I'll add a couple things. So, Jim talked about how clean things are nowadays, safer. When I think about the changes in manufacturing, I think about sustainability improvements that we've made that not only help us from an environmental perspective, but also help us from a competitiveness for Erie. And we've been able to make some of these enhancements that are making significant improvements, 20 to 30 to 50% improvement on our utility costs between electric, gas, and water. And all this is through connecting sensors, machines, cell phones, apps, something that we do at home. We have, the Nest or, Alexa controlling our temperature on our furnace. We're doing that at work, and we're doing it fast, and we're doing it with people that we're working with, and not major consultants. But it's the technology that our kids and our youth have, that learning on YouTube videos, and the technology's out there, and it's actually connecting to the real world. Connecting and understanding our radio factory, being able to understand, is that machine running or not when the operator is there? Is the gas on? Is the furnace on or off? Those are some of the things that we're working to make our manufacturing. We're coming alongside the manufacturing team to be more competitive. So when I think about how things have changed in manufacturing, it's still, you have to make things hopefully more ergonomic than it was before. We're investing thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars on torque tooling to improve quality and ergonomics. So that has changed. We're launching a lot of new product introductions. So we used to do one NPI every 3 years. Now we're doing 3 every year. And so we're using tools like wood and cardboard for mock-ups, the production preparation process, and actually experimenting with the manufacturing process prior to final definition. And so getting our foot in the door from a manufacturability perspective, rather than the engineer designing it on how we should put it together, we're putting it together jointly and developing that design. So that wood and cardboard helps. More recently, virtual reality, augmented reality, these are things that are starting to come in to reality, truly to make things happen. We're currently building the shortest locomotive I think we've ever built for New York City Transit. And it's these new tools and technology that's helping us get there. So it's really exciting.
Thank you. So I want to move from that now. That was great perspective, but I want to move from that now to what's going in within your specific companies. So this is a question I'd like each of you to answer, and I'll call on you individually. And this time I'm going to start with Catherine. Catherine, what are some of the jobs in industrial sales and manufacturing that you most need to fill right now? And what sorts of skills, prior experience, education, or training would be required of someone interested in those positions?
Okay, yeah, of course. Thanks, Mary. So currently, ISEC is looking for CNC machinists, we're looking for welders, we're looking for laser operators, we're looking for saw operator, we're looking for a grinder operator, we're looking for quality inspectors, we're looking for industrial maintenance technicians. I mean, I could go on. We're pretty much always looking for people. I'd say there are immediate hiring needs, but we have a continuous cycle of recruitment. So it doesn't matter what you may or may not see on our website of what our current openings are or what you see on an advert. We're always interested in hearing from anyone who's got any interest whatsoever in manufacturing. Even if you have the slightest interest or want to explore the industry of manufacturing in a little more detail, do get in touch with us, because you may feel that you have a background that might not necessarily be suited to manufacturing, when actually that might not be further from the truth. Because while we will look to fill those positions, of course, from experienced people, we also want people who don't necessarily have that experience. We just want people who have a skill set or an interest. If you have a background in, if you enjoy putting things together, if you enjoy jigsaws, if you enjoy mechanicals, if you enjoy working on your engine at home, or if you enjoy just putting things together, or if you enjoy seeing product development in some kind, if you enjoy painting, or it doesn't necessarily, you don't have to have a background in manufacturing already. You just have to have an idea of what it is that you want to do. If you know that you want to be, okay, I want to be able to work with my hands, then great. Manufacturing could be a really great career opportunity for you. If you know that you don't want to necessarily be sat at a desk all day, you want to be up and about, you want to be involved in making things and putting things together and being able to read blueprints and being able to read a set of instructions and putting things together, or even if you enjoy making sure things fit in the right place, or if you want to move items around, or if you really want to see a product go from start to finish through a development cycle, or if you're able to multitask, you don't necessarily, we really encourage people from, if they're in a job and they may not necessarily be enjoying it, just to give you that exposure. We offer sort of manufacturing shop floor tours to people who think, maybe I've got a slight interest in this area, but I'm not really sure about it. I'm not sure about my background. I don't know if I'm going to be able to do it. Because I think a lot of the fear, Mary, from people who might have an interest is, I might not be able to do it. I don't know if I've got the skills to do it. And so they might feel a bit intimidated about applying for a job because they're like, well, I don't have that experience. Well, we would encourage anyone who wants to explore the opportunity, because we're looking for talented, enthusiastic, dedicated, loyal people. We want good people to come and work for us. And we look at everyone from every single background with all kinds of different experience. And we will always provide on-the-job training. We'll always provide an introductory onboarding phase. It won't be thrown in at the deep end. It is a graduated, continuous training cycle, no matter what role that you go in. Even if you're 10, 20 years experienced, you still get that onboarding, because every single company is going to have different systems, different processes, different ways of working, different machines, different ways in which to program things. And what we really want to be able to do is open up manufacturing as an industry, particularly in our company, as an accessible option for people thinking about working in manufacturing, and being able to really explore the variety of different careers available. Because not only have you got the manufacturing side, you've also got the operational side, which is there to support the manufacturing. And that includes, which has always been mentioned, the purchasing, it includes the sales department, it includes the HR department, and all of those departments are there supporting production, supporting manufacturing. So not only is it a manufacturing focus, it's also those supporting roles that go with it. So of course, manufacturing is always at the center of everything that we do, because it's the product that we want to deliver to a customer. But the amount of people that are required in which to do that to the high standard that we seek to achieve takes a lot of people from a lot of different backgrounds with a variety of a skill set. So we would always just encourage anyone who's thinking, maybe I want to try this, maybe I want to give this a go, come and see us, come and speak to us, and we'll be able to tell you, where you might be a good fit.
Yes, I was going to add a jump on question there. So if people know they want to make things, they know they enjoy working on their engine at home, or, cutting things, jigsaw, whatever, the kinds of examples you gave, but, they're looking at maybe job descriptions that you might be advertising that you need, but they don't know if they're a good fit. If they just come in and talk with somebody, you would help them think through where within your company they might be the best fit.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely, Mary. If they just came in to any one of these companies, I've no doubt someone would, show them around, explain what we do as a manufacturing companies, and that, I think a lot of people just don't really understand how it all works, or maybe they feel intimidated by not really saying, well, I don't know really that much about it, or I've got an interest in it. Don't be worried about that, because we're always looking for people. Just come and speak to people, and we'll, see what your background is, and then see what you're interested in. Because ultimately, the main importance for us is someone with an interest in wanting to work in the industry, and you can't beat that, and we'll help in whichever way we can by providing whatever resources we can to those individuals.
Okay, thank you. Damon, same question. I'm going to repeat it. What are some of the jobs at WABTEC that you really need to fill, and what types of skills, experience, or training do they require?
Sure, I'd like to start with, I'd like to just probably draw everyone's attention to our website, wabtechcorp.com/careers, where you can see what we have currently open. As of today, there's 115 open positions at the Erie site that we're looking to fill. And we've got about 30 different job classifications that we have. We've been doing a lot of hiring recently, a lot of interviewing, in which we are going to have some gaps. Currently, we've got some positions for a journeyman electrician, a welder, machinist, test operator. So these are common themes of people that we need in the industry that we're looking to fill. It starts with the GED and a high school diploma, and then it comes with a first interview where we're looking for essentially just a good communicator and someone who's got a dependable background. And then we have an interview and go through the process to learn a little bit more about the candidate. I think the other piece to highlight is depending on the job, whether there's a test or if there's a certification that's required. But definitely having the interest and the desire, the fire in the belly to want to get safely get your hands dirty and make something. That's the first step. But again, we've got a lot of different opportunities, whether it's out on the shop floor or quality or being working in distribution. We've got a kitting organization, forklift operators, maintenance operators, electricians. So there's definitely a lot of opportunities out there for someone who wants to have fun.
Great, thanks, Damon. Jim, now to you. What critical hiring needs do you have at Machining Concepts, and what skills, experience, or training do they require?
Well, it's kind of unique right at the moment, but I think it's a testament to Erie overall, is we deal with companies all over the United States, as everybody does. But one of our largest customers in California, and another one in Arizona. And they've come to us. We're only running a one-shift operation at the moment. And since we've gotten our aerospace and medical, we've got a lot of demands, a lot of inquiries. And we're basically limited because we can only find enough people to run one shift. And you ask individuals in California, and you say, well, we don't have the capacity right now. You must have someone else you can work to. And they basically indicate that skill base and so forth in Erie and the oil and gas industry and so forth is still very important. And that they really like the quality, like the workforces in Erie and so forth. And they want to continue to place orders with us, but we just can't because we can't find the people. So what do we need? We really need an entire second shift. Number one on the list are people that set up and operate, begin to prove out new programs and so forth on jobs. So we need those CNC operators, set up people. On a full second shift, we would need some more people in quality. We would need another maintenance man. You would need probably a supervisor. So we have some immediate needs for that on first shift, but really to extend it, to get our capacity where we really need to be, our growth has got to come from the second shift. So we're looking for all those types of positions. And the same types of individuals that it just resonates with a lot of companies, and again with us, is the fact that we have found with the young people that we've got, we look for someone who has some good computer skills, somebody who's got some math skills, somebody who has problem solving skills, somebody that can take and visualize something. Somebody, of course, has all the soft skills and just has the good integrity of a person that's going to be able to want to learn and understands what a company needs them to do, to how they can contribute, and then how the company can work with them.
Thank you. Okay, so here's a related question based on the things you just said. For job candidates who lack manufacturing skills, training, or experience, but they have an interest, right? Do you offer on-the-job training? And if so, what does that look like? And do employees get paid while they're being trained? Damon, let's start with you for this one.
Sure, we've got a strong legacy and a bright future, and with that means that we're going to have to evolve going forward with our workforce. And some of that is training. So things like if you're a production tech and you want to become a welder, we do have a welding school that would be paid by the company for 6 weeks for you to go train and learn how to weld and test out. And if you're successful with that, you can then be hired as a welder within our workforce. So we have that. We're also working on a test development plan and training process to improve our test capability for our functions and for our products. So that's another company-paid opportunity that we're working to develop our internal talent, as well as we have a whole facility dedicated to our training, the Customer Innovation Center that we invested over like $8 million, relatively new facility within our site, where we educate on topics like safety, quality, and our different job functions. So we are definitely interested in investing in our people, and certainly training is one of them that we recognize that we need to continue doing.
Thank you. Jim, how about you?
We have a lot of on-the-job training. Being a small company, in many cases when we start someone new, we partner them with someone else that's a lead in that department or wherever they're going to work, to help them begin to understand the basics and so forth. But in addition, of course, to the initial safety that they have to go through and the right to know and all those types of things you do, the first thing anyone does when they come in is they learn and they spend time in the quality department to understand how to measure, how to take and use measurement equipment and so forth, to become indoctrinated that way. And then they're matched up with someone and they help them begin the learning process. Then there's a number of, it's really individualized from there. A lot of times we utilize outside organizations that have training type blueprint reading and G-code programming and those types of things. And the faster and the better, I'll put a little plug in here, that we can get the right instructors in place to help the community college begin to offer these things on a regular basis at a scale for the Erie area is just very imperative. We have a statewide approved apprenticeship in machining concepts, but it's been difficult to really get good traction going with that, simply because we don't have the training organizations out there to be able to do the courses on a regular basis. So that's really important to the area. It's important to machining concepts. And so until that really develops, we do more in-house training.
Okay, thank you. Catherine, how about you? What does on-the-job training look like at your facility?
Yeah, similar really. At ISM, we're really pleased to be able to offer a variety of options for on-the-job training, which includes co-op programs. So we work closely with local schools and colleges who may be undertaking studies where they'll study in the morning and then they might come to us in the afternoon to build on the studies on whatever it is that they're studying, and then they'll work for a couple of hours in the afternoon. So we really do look for those opportunities, and we partner with schools, colleges, looking for participants in that if they're interested, and that's very looking to build on the studies. Or if they study in the afternoon, we're very flexible in respect of where, if they want to come in, build on the knowledge that they're learning through either EIT or one of the local colleges or schools. We also do internships as well, which may be something similar to a summer placement through the colleges or high schools. So we can offer 3 to 4 weeks placements at ISM, where someone will come in and maybe stay with one particular department, and they would be put in like a buddy system, which is like a mentorship scheme. So it would generally be a supervisory role. Someone would take a student or anyone in particular who's looking to come in and experience manufacturing. They could do a 2-3 week placement with us to experience it. It is paid, or they can go, or we do also offer some more formal apprenticeship schemes for people with sort of very limited or no experience, and then they will go through probably a more formalized approach through training where it will be clearly set out, okay, over the period of 1 or 2 years, these are the areas that you're going to be covered, this is who you're going to be supervised by, this is how you're going to be assessed, and there'll be a list of different sets of competencies which they'll aim to achieve throughout that kind of learning process. So that's probably the on-the-job training opportunities that ISM offers. But we also offer continuous improvement within the company. So not just people with limited or no experience, it's anyone in the company or anyone with any level of experience that can always continually improve in their role and what they do. And we offer opportunity through online training sessions. We have a training pod within the company where they can build, and we always see the advantage of upskilling any employee in any role that they're in with any additional resource that we can provide in which to make them feel more confident in the job that they're doing. But we've seen great success in sort of offering these opportunities to people who may be studying something which is relevant or connected to some way, whether that's in an engineering field or whether that's in new product development or whether that's within a quality assurance. We very much look to tailor-make a program which fits them. It's not sort of, this is our standardized one. We very much look at the individual, look at the areas they want to focus on or they're interested in, and then we actually develop a program that really suits their needs. And it also suits the company needs because, we have to be flexible and fluid in respect to what the demands are of the company, and, as well as make sure that anyone who's wanting that experience of the training is getting the experience and supervision that they need in which to progress. So, we're really happy to be able to offer those kind of options.
That's really great. It sounds like all three of these companies are really committed to employee success and that you really thought through how you can make that happen through the training opportunities that you provide and give the flexibility that you're sort of looking at these things from an individual perspective as well as, the basic skills that sort of everybody needs to have. So that's all really, really great stuff. So I want to sort of shift the conversation a little bit here. In preparation for tonight's discussion, I took a look at local data on wages for high priority occupations in our 6-county workforce development area, and that includes Erie and 5 surrounding counties to Erie. And I focused on 8 positions from the high priority occupations list. And the ones I paid attention to were those that somebody could secure right out of high school and be trained through on-the-job training. So I'm not going to read all 8 of them, but to give you an idea, some of the positions I looked at, which were some of the positions that you all mentioned tonight, were industrial machinery mechanics, maintenance and repair workers, CNC machine tool operators. And for somebody who doesn't know what CNC stands for, can somebody tell us what CNC actually stands for?
Computer numerical control.
Okay, and so, okay, good. All right, so that's the more technical, that's the evolution of the people were doing things by hand, now things are more computer driven. That's one of those machines. Okay, CNC machine tool operators, machinists, and welders, among others. And here's what I learned based on information that companies submitted to the state and then the state aggregated. So for entry-level positions in our 6-county area that require no additional education other than on-the-job training, the average entry-level wages range from $26,000 to almost $37,000 per year, depending on the job. And with experience, those average wages climb to $41,000 to over $50,000, again, depending on the job. So what I'm interested in knowing is if that's consistent with what job seekers would find at your companies, And could you give us an idea of how long it generally takes for an employee to move from the entry-level compensation to become eligible for higher wages? And Jim, I'm going to call on you first for this one.
The starting wage for the entry-level individuals, I would find that's very consistent. The one thing that is important to a lot of our people that start, we do some things called gain sharing, where we take 2% of our gross profit and put that into an employee pool that they share in. We take it. There are other benefits. There's a number of things that we do as an employer to help incentivize them. That didn't come out right. But anyway, things that we can do to encourage them, that they can help share and stuff that they can do and control. It usually takes, and it really depends greatly on the individual, but some individuals, if they have a real knack, within a year or two, they can really be contributing at a high level. Some individuals, it takes 2 or 3 years, a little bit longer. But it really depends on their progress, how they learn, and so forth. With overtime and so forth, there is a lot of opportunity for people to give it at a very entry-level basis to be able to begin to grow and to earn.
Thank you. Catherine, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, for us, we work mainly on an hourly rate. So with the figures that you provided, that's probably ranging between entry level, anything from $12.50 through to $18 would be sort of the entry level area. Anyone with more experience, I think the later figures equate to about $20 plus an hour. So that is generally pretty reflective, I think, of the industry. The more experience that you have, obviously you're going to be able to bring more to the table straight away, so that is likely to attract a higher wage. But for the entry level, I think what we tend to do as a company is we'll assess someone's background, experience, skills, and we have a performance review procedure. So we very much like to be transparent with expectations. And I think that's really important today, especially to today's generation. They very much want to be able to progress, not only professionally, but personally. And obviously with that, they want to increase the wage that they earn and know that it's going to increase and it's not just going to remain stable. Now, obviously there is also an expectation from the company that, in order to get more money, and it does come with experience, and that obviously takes time. I don't think there's a one-size-fits-all answer to how quickly you can progress in respect of the wage. I think it's very dependent on you as an individual, what you put in, what you produce, and how you perform. But I'd like to say that we offer a fair and transparent procedure in that this is what our expectation is of you. This is what we're going to start you on, having assessed your ability and competence. However, we're going to very clearly outline if you hit these milestones or if you hit these mile markers throughout your time here, your career here, we'll do a performance review, and then we'll have a look to see not only at the end of the year but also at mid-year, to have a discussion and say, hey, how are you getting on? This is what you're doing really great at. This is what we really think maybe you could work towards. So towards the end of that, hopefully everyone understands where they are, how they're performing, what they need to work on, and what those areas for development are. But we certainly offer that graduated progression career path for people who are working hard, and we want to reward that. We want people to do a good job. We want them to work hard, and we want to incentivize them to do that. So not only, similar to what Jim was saying, is it compensation based. We like to be able to provide a great working environment. We recently did a survey throughout all of our staff to ask what was really important to them, and obviously pay was number one, isn't it? Always, but there's other stuff that really motivates people to do a good job and be happy in the workplace. And overwhelmingly, people wanted flexibility. There was a bigger emphasis on work-life balance. So what we did is we actually completely overhauled our working hours. We're actually still in a trial period now, offering flexible working where you can come in, work 4 10-hour days and have a 3-day weekend. You know, you can do 4 9 hours and a half day on Friday and have a Friday afternoon off. You know, and we want to be able to not only offer a great compensation and benefits package, but also highlight the importance of that work-life balance, flexibility that we can offer where we can, we will, but also obviously that, you know, we have to balance that with the company need as well, which we do. And not just that, we really want to provide a great working environment. So we just had our annual cornhole tournament, you know, I did terribly, but it's great fun and it really brings people together, you know, and it's not just about, of course everyone works hard and that's great, but we really want to reward people. We do prize draws, we do raffles, you know, and we like to be able to offer those additional incentives to people to really enjoy and want to come to work. And we feel when they feel that way and their morale is high, then they work better and they're happier, and that has a knock-on effect to everyone. So for us, it's a sort of holistic overhaul of the whole culture, and that's been sort of a real focus for ISM, is not only, you know, what can we offer people on an hourly basis, but what can we offer them that's also going to tick all those other boxes that's going to make them happy here.
Thank you. Damon, how about you?
Sure. At WebTech, we've got multiple paths for a career-long opportunity at WebTech throughout different companies or throughout different jobs within the company, both on the hourly and the salary ranks. Speaking from experience, you know, 24 years not being from Erie and just getting different opportunities to work with different people. And I'm working with a lot of the same hourly people that I started with, and, you know, kind of seeing them progress across the 30 different classifications that we have. You know, they've got different opportunities, different pay scales within those. As they gain experience, they can graduate and get to different pay scales. And then for new hires, we have a 10-year progression plan for an employee that they'll increase their rate to $13 an hour. So as an example, welders and assembly techs, their starting rate for new hires is $23.97, and that'll progress up to $36.88 over 10 years. So that obviously is an opportunity, and then also based on that, also if someone does have a desire to graduate or join the salary ranks, they have that opportunity as well.
Okay, thank you. So here's my next question, and it sort of gets at what you started to talk about, Damon, but I'm actually going to turn to Catherine first for this. Are there opportunities for advancement at your company? And if someone comes in at an entry-level job, what could a logical career progression into a higher-level job look like?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've kind of touched on it, but I suppose to just do a bit of a deeper dive, it's always easier to provide examples. So we had someone who joined us straight out of high school, no experience whatsoever, just had an interest in manufacturing, and he actually came to us through a co-op program where he was doing some studies, I think it was in electrical, and he came straight into our facility and we put him in fabrication, and he really showed great prospect, real high potential employee. So, you know, we sat down, had a discussion, and really wanted to understand what he wanted, where he wanted to go, what he was looking at doing. And it was really a mutual process of learning, you know, not only from what he wanted, but also how are we going to develop as a company to try and meet these changing needs of what this generation, or, you know, or any individual is looking for, you know. So we put him on a very tailor-made program which provides him with various opportunities across all the different departments over a specific time period. And again, that will be very sort of highlighted. Okay, well, maybe you spend 3 months in this department, and in this department we'll expect you to do all these different activities. And then once you hit all those activities, maybe we can move you to a different department to get different experience in that area. You know, and it's very transparent in that once you hit those competencies and you're assessed as capable on an independent basis, getting more experience, then your salary is going to increase with that. Your hourly rate, as soon as you hit and you've been assessed as hitting all these competencies, then we're going to reward you with doing that with a higher, hourly rate. So they know that they're working towards something. He knows, okay, well, if I spend this long in this department, and if I hit all these different competencies in this area, I'm going to be rewarded. And we've just found that to be motivational for them. It's motivational for us. And it is a two-way learning process. This is something new for the company. We're wanting to do it for more people. We want to, incorporate much more option for people to be able to offer these opportunities, because we're finding it really works. There's something for people to work towards, something for them to be assessed against, and it's easy. You can monitor progress, and you can really see people progressing in their work, and you can really see how they're coming on so well. And then it's great to be able to say, we've set out our expectations of you, you've hit them, and you'll be rewarded for that.
Thank you, Damon. You started to touch on it a little bit, but can you give some similar examples?
So we have, again, with the different classifications, different buildings, different product lines to move around the plant. Again, the opportunity to look on the job board and see what's out there. Certainly a lot of on-the-job training with the different products that we're producing and developing, and again, it's all around teamwork and learning together as a team. We are very team-based, so that we work together as a team to kind of learn and develop it and get the feedback from the operators, because that's the foundation of everything is that culture. So getting that experience together and growing, as we moved from an assembly to test to maintenance, where you now have to maintain the equipment that the line needs to run. So certainly a lot of progression within the mini city that we have to be able to keep our customers happy. So certainly a lot of opportunities within the
Thank you. Jim, how about you?
Well, our organization being so small is very flat. And so it's not like you're there for 2 years, you move to this level, and you move to another level, because there's really only kind of 1 or 2 levels. Probably the biggest thing that you can do for a young individual is give them additional responsibility. When you give them additional responsibility, when you give them a better challenge to contribute more to something that they're doing, give them more freedom to make those decisions. That's some of the most important things you can do. And then, of course, when they do perform, compensate them as they reach different levels and so forth. And then you help them begin to find kind of their natural position of where they're really good and where their interests and so forth take them. And I can't add much more than what we've already said. And I'm not going to speak to an example, because my example is sitting right next to me. Someone who's gone through that, and I think he's going to speak to you. So I'm going to let him speak to them.
Yep, Jordan, you're on. Talk to us about your experience at Machining Concepts.
My experience at Machining Concepts started about 2.5 years ago when COVID started. I got laid off and needed work. So I started Machining Concepts, and I started at a operator's position where all I would do is run machines.
And wait, can I jump? You were fairly shortly out of school, right? You hadn't been out of school for a real long time, is that right, or no?
It was about 2 years.
Okay, go ahead.
So I started out as an operator, and quickly there was an opening in a setup position on 2 machines, and I showed interest. They tested me, and it worked out. So I went into more of a setup position, and from there I kind of moved up relatively quickly, because I strive to make the parts quicker with better quality and got things out the door faster, I guess, with quality still at the top priority. And from there, we kind of am where I am now as the lead lathe guy, which is really cool, I guess. It happened really quickly, and I think that it happened quickly because in this industry you have to really key on certain things, and the keys that strive are quality, efficiency, and willing to work.
So that's a great story. So when you say it happened really quickly, and if you already said this, I'm sorry I missed it. But like, how long did it take you from that initial starting at that entry level position, and then going into the sort of setup piece, and then to where you are now being the lead lathe guy? How long did that take you?
From the operating to the setup position, it took about 3 months to go from operating to setting up. And that was because we had awesome people that were able to show me, this is how we set up. And at the 3-month mark was when we had an opening on machines. So I went and they showed me, this is what you do. And from there, then it went into, I set up for about 1.5 years, and then we had a position opening as the lead lathe person. So I kind of had the experience that I was able to take on that position and be able to help everybody on the floor.
So as the lead lathe guy, are there other people that you have to supervise, or like, what does being the lead lathe guy mean?
For me, my day-to-day is I help all of our new employees. I help them get rolling. If they need help, if they need anything troubleshooted, I'm there to help them. If they need trained on anything regarding to the lathes, I help with that. I do have, we have one employee that is starting to help me with the training side of it. So it's not all just one person. He has a lot of different experiences that I do. So together we're able to kind of mold all of the new employees and experienced employees. We're kind of able to mold them into, hopefully, a year down the road, good machinists.
That's really great. And so, like, if you were to sort of sum up from your perspective, having evolved from that entry-level operator to set up to lead lathe guy, you know, what was most important to your success aside from, you know, quality, efficiency, get things out the door quicker without hurting quality? Like, what do you have within you that you feel like has made you be successful? One thing you just said is teamwork, right? You know, because you had people mentoring you, now you're mentoring people, and now you have somebody who's going to be a partner to help you with the training. So teamwork you need to be able to have. But what are some of those other qualities that you think you have that have helped you be successful in the roles you've had?
At our company, I believe that one of the biggest things to why I've been so successful is the cooperation and I can't remember the word right at the moment, but from the ownership side of encouraging us that, you know, you guys are doing awesome. That kind of helped me strive to do better because, well, if I'm doing good now, how much more can I really do? So I really say that teamwork is awesome. It's really family oriented, and the ownership is really helping the company grow.
That's great. Thank you for sharing your story. Okay, so I have a quick question for you prior to just the last couple of questions I have, and I just want to ask this to take a shot. So, you know, we have tremendous transportation challenges across the county, both in the city and outside of the city, right? And that impedes people's opportunities in terms of where they can look for work, where they can get to work, all of that. Do your companies have anything in place to help people get to and from work? Catherine, I'm going to look at you for this first.
Well, ISM is fortunate enough to be based on 12th Street, so that's a very popular bus route. So I know the bus 30 and 31, I think 31 is Frontier and 30 is West Mill Creek. It's a main bus route, very frequent service. So while we don't offer any sort of company-based transportation system, it's very easily accessible through a frequent and regular bus service.
Okay, thanks. Damon or Jim, do you have anything to comment on there?
Not currently, but we need to take a look at that.
Okay.
My response is easy. We're across from industrial sales. But one thing we do is, I'm sure as they do also, offer flexible schedules so that if someone is on taking the bus transportation, whatever, that their day is adjusted so that they can meet the bus schedule and still get a good day's work.
Great, thank you. Okay, so I'm going to round out my questions now just with two more. The first one is this. What do you see as some of the biggest benefits to working in manufacturing? Jim, I'm going to start with you.
I would say probably one of the biggest things is something called a career path. Through the ERMP, several years ago, we started to put this stuff together, and it's been used by a number of different schools and so forth. But what it does is it takes and kind of outlines in a visual way of when you start at an entry-level position of where it can go, and in manufacturing, whether it's in machining or whether it's in welding or whether it's industrial maintenance, which are the three kind of the main core areas that are needed in the Erie area right at the moment. It goes through and it progresses and says different individuals can enter at any level, they can exit at any level depending on their skill level or what their interests are and so forth. But through that period, you can take and branch out into, if you start in machining, but you find out that you'd rather be in quality, you can go that direction. I would say in manufacturing, once you get involved and you begin to learn how to problem solve, you know how to contribute to a company, and you start to help solve problems, and you start to find your interest in whatever that way that is. In manufacturing, it's not just one path. There are multiple paths that lead to a number of different kind of careers. And so it's one of those things where you can earn to learn when you don't have to go. And so many of the skills now that are required in manufacturing do not require the 4-year education. They require a 2-year education or just a certificate or just build your career around small courses and stuff. You're on job training. But as you do that, you can increase your wage and so forth. And you don't have to incur a lot of technical knowledge and so forth. So after 3 or 4 years of learning, that can make literally a difference of $100,000. And so from that standpoint, I think one of the things to really, as a message to drive home, is the fact that each individual, when they have an interest and they think manufacturing might be a career, there's opportunity, there's a way to learn and learn as you go to build a career you can take, and as you're doing that, you can settle out where you kind of fit and what you like to do, and it's growing, it's exciting, and it's how you make things. And it's just a great opportunity for people to have a career.
Thank you. Catherine, how about you?
Yeah, I mean, at the risk of saying something similar, I would definitely say, I would say the biggest benefit of working in manufacturing is the variety of opportunity that is available within such a wide array of different careers that you can pursue in manufacturing. You can go from HR to sales, you go to operations, and then you can go to the manufacturing and production. And the amount of variety that you can experience within any single one of those roles is going to result in no 2 days being the same. You're going to do something different every day. And even if you are in one of those departments, you're going to liaise with the other departments. You're going to experience such a wide breadth of different operational movement, of new product development, new parts. And not just that, you're going to be part of the actual manufacturing process of things that you get to see in everyday life that make things work, that make things function. And I think that's a really underrated aspect of manufacturing, in that you are a central role in actually producing something that goes into every single day products. And not only that, you can be part of a movement into the most advanced technological space that we're seeing in an industry, going from a very manual based system into the advanced robotics and automation. I think a lot of people get scared of automation because they feel that's going to lose jobs. It actually couldn't be further from the truth. It's creating more jobs, automating processes, creating more jobs. And I think it's just an exciting time to be involved in manufacturing, to see where it's going. And like you touched on at the start, Mary, it was very much highlighted from the pandemic, and the importance of it, and the importance of domestically produced products to continue the economy going, to continue the economy thriving. And I don't think you're going to get any better reward in any better job than knowing that you're part of that. And that's really reflected by we see in our company alone, the amount of people who have been in their job for 25, 30 years, they've been working there, so not only does that suggest that they're happy in doing what they're doing, it suggests you've also got a job for life. This isn't a 6-month, 12-month stopgap into something else. This is a lifelong career that you can get with incredible potential, with such a wide variety of opportunity for not only working in the job, but other aspects that are connected to it. So you can really become an expert, in the whole realm of manufacturing. It's just, we haven't got long enough to explain the amount of opportunity involved in what you can do in manufacturing.
Thank you. Damon, how about you?
When I think about the benefits of manufacturing, I think about our mission statement. We get the opportunity to move and improve the world. And it's not only us, it's together with our suppliers. And there's a fancy word for it called supply chain. Really, it's a team of people to make things happen. And we get the opportunity to make a finished product, whether it be a locomotive or off-highway mining equipment, or transit equipment, that we really get to make an impact. Erie makes an impact around the world, whether these kits that we supply or the locomotives, developing new products, the flex locomotive, going down a hill and recharging the batteries, so that when it goes back up the hill, it derates the engine, saving fuel, saving cost, and having a much lower impact on our environment. Developing that product in Erie, working with engineering as a team to be able to do that, it's an honor, and it's happening today. Getting to make a deal with Union Pacific recently for 600 locomotives to modernize them with newer technology, reduces up to 75,000 vehicles off the road every year. 210,000 tons of CO2. So emissions, our hands are helping the environment. These products are what kind of makes manufacturing cool, and it's again working as a team together to first look at culture, continuous improvement, and making sure we're aligned across all the different functions to get those results. So in manufacturing is really the central hub. There's a lot of adjacent teams that support it. And obviously those sometimes get the limelight, but really where the fun is. And every day is an opportunity to kind of make it happen. And we get a chance to do that. And together as a team, it's what we get to do together. So.
Thank you. So I'm going to abbreviate this last question a little bit. So the question is, if somebody's interested in a manufacturing career, how can they go about getting into the industry? So for your 3 companies, I heard you say go to our website. So Jim, your website is?
machiningconceptserie.com.
Catherine?
Yep, ISMtheory.com.
And Damon?
labtechcorp.com/careers.
Okay. Or they could potentially call or stop by your company and make an appointment to talk about?
Yeah, drop in.
Is that appropriate?
Absolutely. From our perspective, come and see us. Pick up the phone, drop in, come and see us. Someone will always speak to you.
Okay. Any other ways from your individual company's perspective before I turn to Sean to talk about the upcoming job fair?
We're all the time willing to entertain tours from high school students and schools and so forth. Sometimes that becomes sometimes difficult to coordinate, but we're willing to do that. But any time that an individual, whether they're in school or out of school, they want to come with their parents, they want to have a personal view and see this firsthand. All they have to do is call, walk in the door, and we'll make it happen.
Or visit www.careerstreeterie.org to set that up through the schools. Right, that's another option. The audience have any questions they'd like to see answered? Go ahead.
I have a question for Jordan. I'm wondering if you had any manufacturing experience before you went to Machining Concepts, and also I'd love to know how you decided to go to Machining Concepts.
Yes, I had experience in high school through our robotics program, and I kind of laid the concrete for where I am now. Can't make robots without CNC machines. So that's kind of how that fell into place. I decided to go work with Machining Concepts because I got laid off from my previous position at another company, and I just happened to see an email for an opening, and it looked like a nice small company, which I prefer to work for. And the parts looked like parts that I'd like to make. So I decided to send the application.
Thank you.
Other questions? Go ahead.
This is for Catherine. What advice would you give younger women, students, who maybe traditionally don't see themselves in the manufacturing world? What advice would you give them to maybe break through that discomfort and to look at it as a potential career opportunity?
I'm really glad you mentioned that, actually, because I was going to mention that myself, and I really want to try and promote this to females as well. I think a common perception of manufacturing is it's a very male-dominated industry, and I really want to try and change the perception on that. In that, albeit yes, of course, there is still a disproportional percentage between male and female, and that is to be expected. We are seeing such an increase of female applicants, particularly CNC machinists as well, which we are super excited about and particularly want to encourage, because I do think there is still that perception that it probably is a male-dominated area, but we have a great percentage of females now working in our company. We always welcome anyone from any background to apply, and we really want to make our workplace as diverse as possible, and we welcome that, and we're really trying to work on, addressing those kind of challenges, in trying to accommodate and really highlight manufacturing as an opportunity for everyone. And sorry, just repeat that last part of what you asked as well.
Just any piece of advice you would have for a young female or a woman looking to make a career change that would help kind of push them over the edge to apply and engage locally.
sure, I would absolutely. My advice would be, if you've got an interest and you want to do it, go and do it. Don't be intimidated by perception, because perception is not always the reality. And actually, when you do come in through our doors, you'll be welcomed. It doesn't matter who it is, whether it's male, female. You're going to be treated exactly the same as everyone else. So my advice to someone, pursue it strongly. I would encourage it. There is much opportunity for them as anyone else.
Any other questions? All right, I'm not mistaken. Oh, we're going here. Okay, hi, sorry, Julie.
That's okay. For all the jobs that you have in your companies, anyone can answer, are they repetitious, like I do the same thing over and over, or would it be a variety? Because I know sometimes repetition is good for a certain type of person, where another person, it can turn them off, so do you offer both?
Anyone?
At WebTech, you would think that all the locomotives and all the off-highway mining equipment and transit parts, like around the world, would be the same locomotive. Well, it's not. There's all sorts of different sizes and shapes. So we see a ton of variation. So there's not a lot of repetitious things. So if that's what you want to stay away from and you want to see a lot of variation, we have a lot of that. Of course, with that brings the challenges of controlling good standards with variation. So that becomes another challenge. But we don't see a lot of repeat. We are building a lot of things, but they're not thousands and tens of thousands. So that does keep us on our toes from the variation.
And I think I'd sort of echo what's been said in that, from ISM's perspective, we manufacture probably around 7,000 different parts. So on one hand, yes, absolutely. You're going to get a variety of work on a variety of different projects, on a variety of different products. But of course, repetition is not always bad either. Repetition makes you an expert at what you do. So you're not necessarily, and what I'm trying to emphasize is you're not going to be bored. You're not going to be doing the same thing day in, day out. You're going to be doing similar systems and processes and operations. You're going to be reading similar sort of manuals. But you know what? You're going to get really experienced at what you do. You're going to become really good at it. And I think, I don't want to speak for everyone, but when you're good at something, you pretty much enjoy it a lot more because you know what you're doing. You're getting really good at it. And then that allows you to be able to be a bit more innovative with what you're doing. Once you know how to do something, like the back of your hand, you're going to know how to improve it. You're going to know how to do it better. And that's what we really want to try and encourage. So for us, we see repetition not negatively, we see it in a good way. We say, hey, this is how we do things here, and this is we're going to train you how to do it, and you're going to do it fairly frequently. You're going to do it on a variety of different parts, so you're never going to be bored, but we're going to make you so good at it, that you're going to improve it, and then you're going to tell us how we can do it better. So we see it as a good thing.
At our company, there's a real mix. For one customer, we do 1,600 different part numbers in a year. And those quantities can range from, in many cases, from 1 or 2 pieces to 10 or 15. But on the other hand, we also have those things that I mentioned about a part that we do for the airlines that controls the flow of the jet fuel. Well, we have one person that really likes that job and just is really good at it. He does that sometimes almost day in and day out. And so you'll find in different individuals, they have different preferences. And so there's room for both. And companies need both. And so the challenge, and then also the good part about it is as you start and you go through your career, you begin to gravitate one way or the other. The companies can kind of accommodate.
Great. Julie?
Okay. For your hours, do you offer full-time, part-time? And I'm asking a lot because with lack of childcare, women want to go to work, but they need a flexible schedule. Do you offer full-time, part-time? And what about PTO for being able to take care of things?
So I'm going to jump in on this one, just because I mentioned that we did a survey across our company and how important it was for those flexible hours. And that's exactly the reason why we amended our hours when we were in that trial period, because we needed to recognise and accommodate different people's needs at different times of the day. No one wants to take time off work to go to the dentist. No one wants to take time off work for whatever other reason that you may need to do something which isn't open at the weekend. So we wanted to be able to offer that flexibility in hours. At ISM, we offer full-time, we offer part-time, and again, we offer flexible working patterns. So we offer a four-day, 10 hours a day. We offer 4 nights and a half day, and it doesn't necessarily have to be a Friday or a Monday. You can choose that day. Now, as long as we can make sure that production, manufacturing, and quality are all synced up and there's the relevant support in place, and that's a challenge from the operational aspect, but that's something we know that we need to recognise and work towards to be able to offer people that kind of flexible working system. But we work 24 hours a day as well, as much as what we can, so we do offer first, second and third shift. And we find some people majority of people prefer the first shift, which is usually around 7 a.m. to about 3:30 p.m. And then second shift can be anything from 3:30 p.m. to 2 a.m. But again, they're the sort of traditional hours. We're offering flexibility in whatever works for people. And we get a few people coming in who much prefer to work throughout the night. So really, we tend to offer whatever we can in which to keep the business operating.
Okay, we are close to, we're over. So do you guys have anything you want to add to that, or anything you want to share about your schedules?
She shared that. We're very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, currently, we're full-time, fixed at first, second, and third shifts, but I don't think it's going to be set in stone. It can always be changed and adopted over time. So that's certainly something that we need to look at as well. But that's kind of where we currently are.
Okay, good. Well, we're at the end of our time together, so thank you for coming, and thanks to all of you for being here and for all of the really tremendous information you shared with us about the industry, about your companies, about global job opportunities. We're really grateful to you for being here.